Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today the High Council are taking a little look at the databank download of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Out of Hiding and Darth Vader Jedi Hunter preview from Atomic Mass Games. So this has just come out this afternoon here in the UK. So we'll have a little look at our first impressions and what we think of these two characters. So very much set in the time of the Kenobi TV show, I think. So we will have a look and we'll see that Darth Vader is very, very adamant on hunting down Jedi and has got some abilities there to deal real damage. And Obi-Wan Kenobi is more of a mild Obi-Wan Kenobi in comparison to how we see him in the Clone Wars. Before we get in, please check out the other content that we've done on the channel. Please subscribe along if you think it is proving to be helpful or useful. We have new content on a weekly basis, and our first, I think, battle report should be available in 2 weeks' time. So let's have a little look at Databank Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. So, talking about the in Star Wars Shatterpoint preview, we're taking a look at a couple of familiar individuals, seeing them at different points in their respective legends during a crucial time. So this is the You Cannot Run Duel pack, which I believe is going to be available on the 7th of July. And we get some cool artwork here that we can have a look at. Again, I'm still liking the thought that this actually comes, we can see a lot of the terrain in here is either terrain you can purchase, and obviously the You Cannot Run Duel pack comes with this like diorama stand for it on anyway, which is very cool. So I think, yeah, it looks very nice off the start. And then we have a look at Obi-Wan Kenobi. So first thing that strikes us on here, if we have a look at his card. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is a 4 points cost, so he doesn't provide squad points. So we know that he is not a primary character. So this iteration of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as we kind of said, is more of an older Kenobi than we see in the Clone Wars and we see in the Kenobi TV show, where he is really although he's the main character of that, he's not the lead from the front Jedi that he once was. So he's 4 points cost. Can be used in both of the Galactic Republic and the Civil War era. And then obviously no Force. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi Out of Hiding, Obi-Wan Kenobi secondary unit. So very nice that we can play some real like what if scenarios here. So, you know, what if Anakin didn't become Darth Vader and actually you just got a bit of an older Obi-Wan Kenobi who joins up with his former apprentice as the Anakin as the primary even, and then Obi-Wan as the secondary. Or, you know, if you're really big on lore, kind of like almost a what if in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi left the Jedi Order to go and join Satine on Mandalore. Anything like that is some really nice kind of what if scenarios you can play there. And then he has got a 1 tactics ability, 1 reactive ability, and 2 innate abilities. He's got the Force User Jedi as his tags, 8 stamina, 2 durability. So we'll look at his innate ability, or his tactics ability, sorry, run. So at the start of this unit's activation, choose a character in this unit or another allied character that is engaged with an enemy character. The chosen character may recover once and reposition. So this is very cool. This is a very cool way to get someone potentially out of trouble if you've potentially misplayed someone, or actually, you know, someone like Darth Maul has just pulled someone completely out of position. You can then use this run ability on Obi-Wan Kenobi to get that character back out of there a little bit more to safety, a little bit somewhere in your lines, or you can just use it actually to potentially get someone engaged with someone else, or make a run at an objective, or anything like that, because they've just got to be engaged with the enemy character. There's no range distance on that, so it's not someone within range 3 of Kenobi or anything like that. So you might be in a position where actually, cool, I'm going to go with, you know, someone completely different who's actually just going to do a full advance to go and claim an objective or contest an objective, something like that. We then get his reactive ability, Mind Trick, which is going to cost 2 Force. When an allied character within range 3 is targeted by an attack, this unit may use this ability. The attack ends. If it is the attacker's activation, it may make another attack targeting a different character. If it does, remove 2 dice from the attack pool. Again, very nice. It's a little bit more expensive, so we've seen 2 forces, kind of the top cost that we've seen so far, but you are potentially saving one of your characters from taking a load of damage, or from potentially from the attacker from being able to do an attack activation in their turn, because if there is another unit that they could target, they can't, like, the attacker's got to be made targeting a different character. So it's something that actually, that might be your, they were your only target, tough, now you can't do anything at all. I'm thinking particularly with kind of engaged characters, or characters that haven't got a ranged ability, or certainly if they do attack, then removing 2 dice from the attack pool is always quite nice, isn't it? It go from, an 8 dice attack to a 6 dice, and you're probably rolling the same number of defense dice then as your opponent might be rolling attack dice. And then innate ability number 1, this unit has immunity to exposed. When this unit would gain the exposed condition, one character in this unit may heal instead. This is the first instance we're seeing of characters being immune to certain conditions, and I guess it's very nice. It's going to potentially direct someone's combat tree, or potentially make them give you a heal when they would like to be doing something with their combat tree anyway. And then his last innate ability, Last Stand of the Jedi. For each injured token this unit has, characters in this unit add 2 dice to their attack and defense rolls. So that is very nice. He is going to be doing a lot of, you're potentially going to want him to get injured. You're potentially going to want him to take the 1 injured token so that he can start adding some extra dice, which is, I think, very cool and very the epitome of what we see in kind of Kenobi the TV show, that he becomes almost, more powerful the more injured he gets. So, yeah, they say this iteration of Obi-Wan Kenobi is the secondary rather than the primary. Works well in representing his diminished state when he emerges out of hiding. No longer capable of directly dueling. And then we've talked about his abilities there, and we get his combat tree. So he is using Form 3 Saruso again, and he is only rolling 6 attack dice in melee, and then is getting 5 defense dice both for melee and ranged. His expertise is going to give him, so on his melee attack, 1 expertise becomes 1 hit, 2 to 3 a crit and a hit, and 4 plus 2 crits and a hit. Nothing too bonkers there, I think, nothing too crazy. And the same as defensive expertise, 1 is 1 block, 2 becomes 2 blocks, and then 3 becomes 3 plus. 3 plus becomes 3 blocks as well. So nothing too crazy on this expertise. But we do look at his combat tree, and I see a lot of different conditions. So, or a lot of different icons even, because there aren't that many conditions. We are always starting out with a damage and a heal. So very nice, whenever he is going to get some sort of damage through, he's always going to be healing in the same time. We can then go up to the top and do 2 damage followed by a jump, 2 heals, and then 2 damage and a shove as well. Or we can kind of stay along this middle path here and go to 2 damage and a shove, 3 damage. Very nice. So that's your damage tree there almost. Or we come along the bottom for a reposition, 2 damage, and then 3 heals as well. So he's got the capability to, this top tree of 4, I guess you probably look at as being a bit more of an all-rounder potentially, because you get 3 heals, a jump, a shove, and 5 damage kind of sat in there. This middle tree is kind of damage. I think it's 7 damage total, 2 shoves and a heal. And then along the bottom is probably like more of the healing tree if you get all the way to the end, because you end up with 4 heals in total, 5 damage, a shove, and a reposition as well. So that could prove quite nasty. I think all 3 of his trees all 3 options that he's got there are pretty good. You've got a high chance of getting to sort of number 3 most of the time, potentially even number 4 with his 6 dice. And remember, if he's going to be injured, he's going to add 2 dice to that, so that's 8 all of a sudden, and he potentially could be quite dangerous up close and personal. probably not as dangerous as the next man I'm going to talk about though. So, Vader, Darth Vader, Jedi Hunter, looks very impressive, I think, is the first thing I would say. Let's get a little bit closer here. So, he is 7 squad points, can be used in both the Galactic Republic and the Civil War era. He is a 4, then brings 4 force with him, so continuing the theme that 7 squad points provides you with 4 force. And he is Darth Vader, Jedi Hunter, Darth Vader primary unit. And then it says this unit cannot be included in a strike team with Anakin Skywalker. Obviously, because they are the same person. And then we get over to Darth Vader, Jedi Hunter over here on his flip side. Then he has got 4 Caesar, Galactic Empire, Galactic Republic, Inquisitorius, Sith. 12 stamina, 3 durability. Before we talk about his abilities, let's really quickly touch on the tags there. So Galactic Empire is new. We haven't seen that one yet. However, Galactic Republic and Inquisitorius will all give some awesome synergy, both with the products that are currently available and the products that are about to become available. So all of that Inquisitorius synergy we looked at in the Inquisitors video, which you can check out in the top right, will synergize very nicely with Darth Vader, Jedi Hunter here. And then he's got that Galactic Republic tag, which means all of those wonderful clones and characters from the core set that talk about Galactic Republic characters can do X. You know, off the top of my head, kind of like a Rex, even like an Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that. Let's have a quick look at. So just having a quick look over on Tabletop Admiral, because General Obi-Wan Kenobi definitely talks about Galactic Republic characters in his status thing. Luminara is definitely going to talk about it's Galactic Republic supporting characters. So not Luminara, obviously can't work with Anakin Skywalker. But if you look at the secondaries, so he's talked about a third sister having some synergy with Inquisitorius. They weren't actually there because that's an Inquisitorius supporting character. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Clone Commander Cody just talks about clones. Barrister talks about Galactic Republic characters. Padawan Ahsoka Tano talks about Galactic Republic primary unit. Captain Rex definitely talks about Galactic Republic characters. So loads and loads of stuff we're going to see come out where he'll just work with all of these other characters that currently talk about Galactic Republic. The clones talk about it, the 212 talk about it, the Commandos talk about it, Commandos talk about it. So there's going to be absolutely loads of synergy. Which one on this one here? Loads of synergy that's going to make, I think, Darth Vader super, super powerful. And then we've got 1 active ability, 2 reactive ability, and a character ability. Well, it's definitely not called a character ability, because it is called an identity ability. That is what it's called. So his active ability, Vader's Fury, is going to cost 1 force. Each character in this unit may advance during the next attack made by a character in this unit during this activation. After all dice rolls have been modified, add 2 damage to the damage pool. Wow. So 1 force for ultimately a free move, and 2 damage going into your next attack. Also, in my opinion, you get him in, it kind of links to things like your hatred makes you more powerful and riposte, that we'll kind of talk about in a second. But just 2 damage off the bat, and now we're engaged. We're at range 2 with someone, which means that links to riposte, so his first innate ability, or reactive ability, sorry. After a melee attack targeting the character in this unit is resolved, if the attack roll contains 1 or more failures, the attacking unit suffers 2 damage. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself there. So that's 2 damage from riposte. We've seen that on Asajj Ventress. So that is not a new ability to us. The Sith Lord strikes back. So when this unit is wounded by an attack, after the attack is resolved, it may use this ability. 1 character in this unit may immediately dash, and make a 5 dice melee attack targeting the character that wounded it. So you are, even if he does get wounded, which, you know, he's got 12 stamina anyway, so he is gonna take a lot to wound, but he's then gonna get a 5 dice attack off for free. And in his identity ability, your hatred makes you powerful. When an allied character makes a melee attack as part of a combat action, after choosing a target, the attacking unit may suffer 2 damage. If it does, the attacker adds 3 dice to the attack roll. Whoa. So you thought Maul was good. You take Darth Vader and anyone can kind of become, in my opinion, a better version of Maul. Obviously, Maul takes damage to not have to use the Force. If you can just take 2 damage to attack, add 3 dice to your attack roll, that's, I think that's bonkers personally. It'll be great to see it on the table. But if you kind of add in Vader's Fury into that, so Vader's Fury, he's going to move, add 2 damage, and then your hatred makes you powerful. He's going to take 2 damage himself, and then when he does that attack, he'll add 3 dice to the attack roll. That's instantly going to do 2 damage straight off the bat because of Vader's Fury. I think that Darth Vader could be very good, but yeah, it will be great to see him on the table. It's like I said, Darth Vader is impressively lethal. So that's quite nice. We'll have a look at his combat tree here. So hopefully it's not too out of focus, or I've zoomed in a bit. But we've got obviously the 2 halves. We've got Dark Rage as ability number 1, which is 7 attack dice in melee and then 5 defensively. And this is, I think this is definitely your I'm going to pound someone in the face kind of side. So we've got 1 to 2 expertise becomes 2 crits, 3 becomes 2 crits and a hit, 4 plus becomes 2 crits, hit and damage. So you're probably getting 2 crits at least, because the chances of you not rolling 1 expertise are quite slim. And that's 7 dice. So remember, if he has done your hatred makes you powerful, he's adding 3 dice into that attack roll. So he's potentially rolling 10 dice for a combat tree that is, I think, as long as we've seen. So this is 6. 6 at its longest. But we've got 2 damage, and if we go up top, 2 damage, damage and strained, 2 damage and shove, damage and dash. So only 5 long there. Or we go straight along the middle, 2 damage, 2 damage, shove. 2 damage, damage, shove, 2 damage, damage, dash. Or we come along this kind of bottom path here, so 2 damage, damage, shove, damage, 2 damage, damage, shove. So this bottom tree is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 damage potentially, just if we complete that tree. Add in your 2 from Vader's Fury. That's 11 damage to someone. That is going to put a wounded token on, I think, anyone that we've seen, maybe apart from General Anakin Skywalker. Nope, I tell a lie. That is going to put a wounded token on anyone. Something I actually hadn't realised was this Vader's 12 is actually the biggest stamina that we've got in the game currently. So that is very nice. And he's potentially got the ability to 1 hit and wound any character in the game, which is awesome on his Dark Rage side. And then his other side, Form 5 GM So, is 6 dice attack melee, 7 dice for a ranged 4 attack, both of them rolling 6 defensively. And his expertise is going to be doing, for his ranged attack, 1 to 2 becomes 1 hit, 3 becomes 2 hits, 4 plus becomes crit hit. And then his melee attack with that, 1 to 2 becomes 2 hits, 3 becomes a crit and a hit, and 4 plus becomes 2 crits and a damage. And then defensively, 1 to 3 gives him 2 blocks, 4 plus it gives him 3 blocks. So definitely not as, we're not getting the crits that we get on his other side, but we do get the opportunity to have the range attack, which is quite nice. We're always going to start off on a combat tree, so we get 2 damage and a shove, followed by 2 damage, have to be the first 2. And then we get a choice of damage and pinned or damage and exposed before we come up to damage and shove. And then we get the final option of 3 damage or is it damage and the climb action? Is that what I think that is there? Let's have a little look. It is the climb action there. So obviously climb page, what is this, 24 of the rulebook. Slightly more niche version of jump. But very nice that he's, I mean, that's the first time we've seen the climb action on a tree. So very nice there. And the opportunity there to do probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's still got 9 damage on this side as well. Potentially, again, with the +3 dice that we're potentially going to get from his active ability Vader's Fury. Potentially the 3 dice we get from Hatred makes you powerful. And then potentially the 2 damage we get from Vader's Fury. Again, he's absolutely got the chance to kind of one wound any unit in the game. He is beastly. So, and then, yeah, it talks about his fierce combatant, stances of to Darth Vader. Dark Rage is straightforward, drawing on the Force to batter the enemy into submission. Sounds about right to me. And then his other one allows you to shove, expose, or pin the foe, and potentially do the climb. So, and then we get this cool little artwork of him. So that is Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the preview of them. Yeah, I think they both look super powerful. A little bit more expensive. So this is just the Asmodee website. So $89 in the US, which I think it's about 60 retail in the UK. Just gonna check where I've ordered my copy from, and then obviously it does come with the diorama. I think is that what I'm looking for? The diorama there, £76 in the UK. So you can probably get it for sort of anywhere between 70 and 75, depending on where you've ordered it from. But yeah, terrain featured display. So it's a shame that you can't use this in the game. I wish they'd potentially sometimes just make this completely flat so that you could use it in the game. But it's not all to be, is it? And then obviously the minis look awesome as it is. You know, it's very much the look of Kenobi, Darth Vader on the built-up base, which is quite nice as well. Ready to use the Force to fling some of that there. So that is, yeah, that's Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader's going to be an absolute monster on the battlefield, and I think he might be the monster on the battlefield until we see General Grievous join us, which unfortunately isn't for a couple of months because of the delay. But he is out on the 7th of July, I believe, in the UK at least, alongside the other Inquisitors and the Night Sisters pack, which I'm also very excited for. Hopefully we get to talk about the Night Sisters next week, which would be lovely. Until then, thanks for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.